Hola, bon dia, everybody. Hi, it's Carl Munson. Wishing you a bon Pascal, Feliz Pascal. Happy Easter. Hope you had a good weekend. Here we are again. And it is still the Good Morning Portugal live stream. But look at that spring-like backdrop behind me and that massive pair of wellies. I'm just realizing that now, that this is my green screen backdrop, which is very unnatural and unorganic, whilst alluding to the fact that we are hoping to live a more natural lifestyle, closer to the land, which I believe is the way forward when all this is over, so to speak. But with you this morning, we'll have a leisurely go at this because I don't know if it's a holiday or not still. I guess it's still officially a bank holiday. We were in lockdown anyway, so everything was different. And this is like lockdown upon lockdown or holiday within a lockdown or something like that. And it's just quite weird, really, isn't it? I don't know if that's your experience as well. So do let me know. Do say hi in the comments there. And if you're seeing this later on YouTube, lovely to get your comments on YouTube as well. And haven't heard from anybody on the podcast yet. The podcast of this is available through Spotify. It's probably the easiest place to find it. If you're listening through that means, please say hello. Luca D is quick to jump on and say hola. Good morning to you, Luca. I'm really happy, grateful for your support that I see on social media from time to time with a few of the things that I'm involved with. And be great to hear about your situation. How's it going for you, my friend? Lovely to see you here this morning. So we will start, as we have become accustomed to, with the facts and figures, and then we'll move it away from that into the more subjective stuff, opinion, how we're feeling about all of this, and thoughts about the future, really, because that for me is really not heavy on my mind, but really there, really present to me, is what we're going to do about this. What we're going to do about the situation that we found ourselves in as a complete surprise, and how poorly prepared we were. Because it's not as if, normal to me. Actually, I'm going into the subjective stuff too early. Let's stick with the numbers now, and I'll start talking, hopefully, with you about that a little bit later on in the stream. But look, the deaths now in Portugal are over 500. The confirmed cases, Lisbon is leading the way with 890, Porto 885. But you can see the concentration is mainly in the north still, and mercifully in the south. And in the usually holiday touristy region, the numbers have kept low. So it would appear, I don't know, I'm no scientist, but the sort of lockdown strategy is working there, whilst the transmission got off to a very fast and rapid start before the lockdown in the north, and to some extent in Lisbon as well. 277 people have recovered within the Portuguese context. 16,585 confirmed cases now, with 136,243 suspected cases as well. So, and if you use this particular information site, you'll see how you can break it down from Concello or regional basis. So there, look, the concentration is certainly in the north, nearly 10,000 cases, 9,747 in the north. As is reflected in the graphic there. So I'm going to have a look at a few different news sources, and as I say, we tend to shift from the kind of objective and factual through to the more subjective and conversational. Bon dia from Lisa. I'm an American stranded in the Azores until further notice. I don't mind a bit. Yeah, funny you should say that, Lisa. When we first came to Portugal, me, wife and family, we were stranded in a place called São Martinho de Porto on the Silver Coast of Portugal because our camper van broke down, and it was such a blessing. So I'm glad you're seeing it that way as well. So lovely to hear from you, Lisa. Tell us more about the Azores. And what a great place to be stranded. I'm glad you're able to reframe it in that way. That's fantastic. Okay, let's look now at the Portugal news. I'm sure more of the people will join us, and a few of our regulars will be here through their perhaps bleary eyes of the holiday weekend. I don't know. Let us know what you've been up to, and whether this has been truly the weirdest holiday weekend you've ever experienced, either here or at home. And let us know what you're doing from a homesteading point of view. You can see the orientation of the show is changing from, like I said before, it's pretty grim just reporting a daily death toll to you. But I do think we need to keep informed about what's happening, how it's being managed here from a government point of view, and also what we might do as we move forward and away from this situation. And my hope is that we don't return to normal in some senses, but obviously that we do in others. And to that end, let me share with you Safe Communities. These guys are doing such good work at the moment. This was published in the Portugal News on the 9th, a few days ago now. But I just wanted to pass on the message from David Thomas and the team. We had David on this stream fairly early on in the proceedings, and he was telling us then what they were doing. But he said that there is little doubt that we're all becoming more accustomed to a change of life as a result of COVID-19 and the effects of necessary laws and measures that have been put in place. Excuse me. These changes will be with us for some time to come. How long this takes is up to us. If we stay at home, except for essential trips, it will be over much quicker. If we stay home, the risk of us and our families being infected is much reduced. And if we stay at home, excuse me, I'm going to have a little sip of my tea. If we stay at home, we will greatly help the nurses, doctors, and emergency services upon whom we all depend. The Portuguese government should be applauded for its timely and resolute actions by introducing measures to help mitigate the situation. They have often rightly been complimented through responses we receive, together with the nurses, doctors, security forces, and all those putting themselves at risk to help others. So yeah, shout out, big up to everybody who is putting themselves at risk to help other people at the moment, and to all of us staying at home as well. Well done, you guys, for staying at home and staying out the way and making it easy for them. Within the community, there's a general sense of responsibility, civic mindedness, and determination to overcome this and get back to a normal way of life as soon as possible. There's fantastic work being done, undertaken by charities and other volunteers throughout Portugal, from making donations to providing support to those in need. Please support them. And if you want to find out more about how specifically the Safe Communities Portugal team are doing this, you can find that at Portugal News, theportugalnews.com. Still worrying every time I cough. I'm still worrying every time someone else coughs. It's, it's not like worry, but it's like, oh dear. So there you go. That's Safe Communities Portugal. And I will come back to this idea of returning to normal. I've got real mixed feelings about that, I have to say, and I suspect you might have too, if you're a regular here. And we've been having conversations, as it were. Hola from Owen. Good morning to you, Owen. Hope you're well wherever you are this morning, and hope you appreciate the new backdrop, Owen. Looks a little bit like your garden, as I recall it, mate. So let us proceed with the looking at the around the place at various news sources. Another I want to show you, again from the Portugal News, is the Prime Minister a couple of days ago talking about the headline here from the portugalnews.com. Costa says that withdrawing a state of emergency would be giving the country the wrong signal. And this, I suppose, they're managing the fatigue now, aren't they? Because, when state of emergency first came, it's like, whoa, state of emergency, that's scary, that's unprecedented, which is word of our times. That's the going to be the most used word, I think, from this period of human history. And now we're approaching the third phase of, or in the third or fourth phase of. See, I don't even remember which extension we're in now. It's been the new normal, as it were. The Prime Minister considered that removing the state of emergency due to the COVID-19 would be to give the wrong signal to the country, and stressed that the days when circulation is restricted during Easter are going to be extremely important. And I don't know how that's panned out. I mean, I did see on Portuguese TV that the police were really, clamping down on the movement, and it's a reflex of the Portuguese culture, isn't it, to be on the road before Easter and to be with family during Easter. And I don't know. We'll see, won't we? How well that's gone. I don't know what your view is on that. In an interview with the program Você na TV on TVI, Antonio Costa stated that it would be giving the wrong signal to the country to withdraw the state of emergency. We cannot yet start to alleviate, in brackets, the containment measures. On the contrary, he pointed out, saying that this is the most difficult moment because fatigue is accumulating. There you go. But it is necessary not to lose focus. And I thought people at a governmental level will be taking the pulse, as it were, of the populace and seeing how well they're coping with this, and looking to Italy, for example, where I see the numbers are plateauing, if not coming down, and there's a sense that the lockdown has worked there. So that's the kind of example that's needed, isn't it? That, this is all worthwhile. In Antonio Costa's view, the Easter season is critical, and the 5 days in which circulation between municipalities is restricted, includes today, between last Thursday and today, Monday, will be extremely important. It is fundamental to be very restrained, very disciplined in measures to contain the COVID-19 pandemic in order to be able to anticipate the lifting of the constraints imposed by the government, he pointed out. So there you go. That's interesting. That's the position that it would appear to be coming from the top, certainly the political top, feeding the controversy between what is essential to have, what is necessary to have, and what people think they have to have. he commented on that. As for ventilators, those being purchased will allow the duplication of the current capacity of the National Health Service Guarantee. So all looking well on the and so I know the big controversy in the UK where I'm from is just the lack of equipment and personal protective equipment. It seems they're all over it, to use that phrase here, we hope. And there was I see a new consignment that's coming from China. But you see so many different things and you know, counter accusations and so on wherever you look. So you just have to pick your best course, don't you? What feels right to you ultimately. Asked about how he greeted the Minister of Education on Thursday with a handshake, Antonio Costa admitted that it was a failure, but he considered that it shows that he is human. A good response as well. Only human is the response there, and I suppose right for the press to point that out, and he dealt with that in a good way, it would seem. So there you go. That's the kind of the factual picture. A few more hellos coming in. Great to hear from you guys. I'm here just feeding children. You make that sound so simple. I know how complex and complicated that can be, Hannah. So shout out and big up to you. Just feeding children, indeed. I'm sure you're doing a heroic job, especially after days and weeks of it. From Debbie Doos. Morning, everyone. Hi, Debbie. How's your hot tub deck and retreat basically coming along that you've got there? Great to hear from you, Debbie. Bon dia, everyone. Love the new backdrop. Oh, so glad you like it, Chantel. It's very spring-like, isn't it? It's very vibrant, I think. What I think, it looks like it's snowing at the top there as well, doesn't it? Sorry, I've got to adjust that. I can't allow that to happen. So I'm just going to adjust my green screen settings. That's annoying me, as it may be you as well. Look, this is what happens if that's from one extreme to another. So hopefully that'll be a bit better now and not so distracting, if indeed it was distracting you at all anyway. But this is the new way forward. Happy Homesteading is the new name of the group in Facebook for Good Morning Portugal, because that's where I think the action is for the future in how we might become a little bit more resilient, self-sufficient, interdependent, community-focused, and operate on a local level. And a lot of people are doing that already in Portugal, but they've been working against the odds, I think, in many ways. And it might be that the tide is rising for all of that sort of activity, and we'll have a little bit more wind in our sails, especially if we lots of lentils. Ha ha. Bon dia from Rafa Sabah. Good morning to you, Rafa. Great to see you. I'm not sure I've said hello to you before on the stream here. It's coming on. Great working today on it. Yeah, this is, if nothing else, this lockdown and holiday is certainly great for getting those jobs done, isn't it, that we've been putting off. I changed a tap wash yesterday, and I cannot tell you the amount of simple and basic satisfaction I got from doing that job without cursing as well, because I think plumbing, of all the jobs in the house, plumbing is the one that can tend to bring on the greatest amount of cursing and frustration. But I chose to go about it in a zen-like and mindful way, and it turned out beautifully. Morning, Carl. We did a 30-minute YouTube workout yesterday. Wow. In our wetsuits, so we could jump into the Baltic swimming pool after. Hashtag isolation exercise. That sounds extreme. Is a Baltic swimming pool a cold one? Is that why it's Baltic? Or is there another reason for that? But so you got really hot in your wetsuits? Is that what happened for 30 minutes and then jumped into the cold water in a Wim Hof, as he calls it, style, really challenging your capillaries? But you know, whatever that was, it just sounds really impressive. And I take my headphones off to you for that. Incredible, Dawn. Good morning to you as well. Lovely to hear from you. So to further illustrate the point, and to share something with you that I think is quite important, this came across my social media lens yesterday, and I will share it with you, just a little bit of a preview of the Happy Homesteaders. Look, we're reflecting the nice new backdrop there. So Happy Homesteaders is the new Good Morning Portugal Facebook group, and getting some lovely posts from people. Look, this guy keeps his mother in the fridge. Would you believe it? That's his sourdough mother, not his actual mother. It's not warm enough for keeping mums in fridges just yet, is it? Yeah, some seed saving, permaculture advice. Wendy is really sending some great stuff our way, and a little bit of explanation of what's going on there, changing of my images and so on. But the really great thing that came across my virtual desk, as it were, yesterday is this from Karen Francesca, who I had the pleasure of meeting. I worked at a charity in the UK, and she came and did created a beautiful piece of sort of natural artwork that included an incredible mosaic to celebrate the place where we were. And she sent this from Katie Lamont, has popped up. This is what, to me, this is what the situation is all about. I'm not saying it should be for you or anyone else. I'm just saying this is how it is for me right now. Let me just get rid of all these people across here, giving you an insight into my private life on Facebook. If you believe, in fact, I'm very open about that. If you're a Facebook friend, you'll see I give up all sorts of information about my private life on Facebook. But anyway, enough, least said about that, the better. If you believe this virus is spread human to human, the antidote is building the immune system with eating plants and natural medicines and sitting in nature alone or with your immediate family, soaking up vitamin D and sunshine. Yes, and lots to be said about vitamin D at the moment. A lot of good research and ideas coming out about vitamin D. Get yourselves in the sun if there is some, folks. If, going back to what Katie says via Karen, if you believe that this virus is symptoms of 5G exposure, then the antidote is sitting in nature, connecting to Mother Earth, building your immunity with eating plants and natural medicines. Submerge yourself in water and dirt and your Baltic pool. If you believe that this is all a hoax and you just need to sit back while Q saves us all, then the answer is sitting in nature. Build a garden for the new earth. Commune with God. Eat plants and natural medicines that strengthen your connection and open your channel to the new earth frequency. Ascend with her. That's for the more hippie-ish among us and conspiracy theorists. If you believe the economy is collapsing and authoritarian dictatorship is imminent, the most radical thing you can do in protest is build a garden, releasing dependency on the system. If you believe that Mother Earth is mad at us and purging the human race, the answer is go outside and listen, build a garden, align with her. And to sum up, that's why I love this. The answer is always nature, always. We do not have to argue about the why. The antidote is obvious. Alignment with the mother, with our source of nurturance, remembering everything we use and need comes from her. Give thanks, humble, slow down, observe, and listen. Fantastic words from Katie Lamont. And for me, that beautifully sums up what we're about in this happy homesteaders vibe as we connect more with nature, because that's what it's about. I think the first step you can take, if you're not a kind of homesteading sort of person, is just to go and sit outside and just tune in. You know, if you're not growing your own food yet, if you're not homeschooling, and that's a massive task, as some people are realizing at the moment. Just go outside. It's the first step, isn't it? Get the vitamin D, get the fresh air, and just connect and come back to, a natural center in yourself, I think is the thing to do at the moment. We've always, hopefully, I mean, even in lockdown, hopefully if you've got a balcony, if you're in a flat or whatever, you can just get out for your bit of exercise, get some fresh air, get some sunshine, connect with nature. It's the most important thing, I think. And that's what we're going to do on a large scale, I hope, when all this is over. Blooming freezing, says Dawn. That's in response, isn't it, to the Baltic swimming pool thing there. She's really connecting with nature there, I think. Getting all hot and bothered in a wetsuit and then jumping into a Baltic pool, a blooming freezing Baltic pool. A very visceral experience of nature, I think there, Dawn. So perhaps I'll leave it there this morning. Thank you for being here and hearing the news there of what's happening with the Good Morning Portugal live stream, and of course what's going on in the bigger picture. And let's talk more as the days unfold about how we're going to deal with this. Is there any chance of going back to normal? Is that what we want? Parts of normal weren't that good, let's face it. And they're always kind of eulogized and romanticized, aren't they? The old days. But a lot of people are hungry and homeless, and we didn't have everything quite figured out, I'm sure. We hadn't probably recovered from, the 2008, or maybe the green shoots were just there for some people from the 2008 crash. I think we need something a little bit stronger and more resilient than that. And I think we can do it. And to use the cliche, we're all in this together, and we just need to pull together. It's true. It's true. So have a great day today on this easygoing Monday. Yeah, Feliz Pascal, Bon Pascal, and happy holidays to you, and take it easy, and see you tomorrow morning. Bye for now. Oh, sorry, one more new comment. Who's that sneaking in at the end? Oh, thank you, says Dawn. And when is the lockdown until? Hannah, I don't know. But, I really don't know the answer to that question. The briefing in Portugal is that the state of emergency is going to continue, and lockdown, is kind of synonymous with that. I think we're gonna have to wait for significant drops in infections and deaths, confirmed cases, etc., for the lockdown to be seen to be effective. And then I don't suppose it will be lifted lightly or quickly, because that would be counterproductive. And there's also you get listening closely to the news, you get an idea that we're being briefed a little bit, aren't we? People are talking about second waves. People are talking about a winter comeback of the COVID virus. That's what I mean. I don't think there's going to be a new normal. There is going to be living with COVID. There's going to be fortifying ourselves. And I think we're going to have to figure out new ways of living as well to work around or beyond this. So I can't say, and I certainly don't know in the UK. As much as I watch the UK news, I wouldn't want to predict that. And I think the message is the same. There's no quick lifting, I think, of the lockdown, despite the Prime Minister's miraculous recovery and him rising on Easter Sunday, which is incredible timing. So I think, what do? You look at other countries for a clue, and I see the numbers are leveling in Italy to some extent. See what happens there. See what happens in Spain, in Italy, and imagine, I suppose, that's some sort of guide to what might happen in Portugal and England. And yes, what are all the hotels, restaurants going to do? Again, they're going to have to recover some way, aren't they? I just don't think, but I don't think we can expose ourselves to this level of fragility, that the economy can be just knocked over like that. We're going to have to figure something else out as well. Not trying to, revise and change everything here. But, clearly we weren't very well prepared, and we need something else. So extended till the 1st of May. Yeah, that's looking likely, isn't it? I think, again, Chantal, I don't know if you're talking about Portugal or England, but similar trajectories. I think 1st of May is very likely, before any lift or serious change. I did mean to leave you there, and we can talk again tomorrow. But Luca D, leaving you all with this. Hope it inspires. That's a really long link. I don't know if you can. Yes, if you see this in Good Morning Portugal, I think that'll be a live link that you can click on. But Luca, please share that with the Happy Homesteaders group as well, if it's inspiring, as you say. Take care, everyone, and bye for now. Bye.